An opposition legislator in St. Vincent and the Grenadines plans to take legal action against the European Union. And in sport, cricket commentators react to the decision to appoint Richard Pybus as Windies head coach. I'm Ricardo Roberts, and this is Caribbean in 10 for Wednesday, January 2, 2019. Happy New Year. We'll be back with the details after the break.
Exceptional fun, meet amazing people, enjoy fantastic food, and rock the nights away to world-class music at the 23rd Annual St. Kitts Music Festival. 3 nights of musical entertainment from the 27th to the 29th of June 2019. Book now and save the date. For more information, log on to stkittsmusicfestival.net. St. Kitts Music Festival, an experience like no other.
Jamaica's opposition leader Dr. Peter Phillips has turned down a request from Prime Minister Andrew Holness for a meeting on the crime situation in Jamaica on Wednesday, but he has left open the possibility of the talks taking place at a later date. Holness had written Phillips on December 31 last year, proposing the meeting, adding that his administration views the current crime situation as an existential threat to the security of the country and a national emergency of exceptional public importance. But Phillips said that the date for the meeting was inappropriate at this time and that the earliest a People's National Party team could be assembled to meet would be January 7. We get more in this report from TVJ News.
Government and opposition have been in conflict since the parliamentary opposition did not vote to extend the SOEs which expire in January. Government says the SOEs are effective and the security forces need more time to catch criminals. But the opposition claims extending the SOEs further is unconstitutional, and without the SOEs, the security forces can use a number of crime-fighting strategies, including cordon searches and imposing curfews. The only thing that's not possible, according to the opposition, is the arrest and indefinite detention of citizens. In a release Monday, the OPM said the opposition is either confused or disingenuous as they reject the use of the SOEs, yet they're advocating for actions that could only be carried out under the SOEs. In its response, the opposition said it holds firm to its position as the constitutional and human rights issues were carefully considered. Now, even though opposition leader Dr. Peter Phillips accepted Prime Minister Andrew Holness's invitation to meet, both leaders have yet to turn the talk into action. The opposition reiterates it stands ready to discuss all national security issues within the provisions of the Jamaican Constitution. But for the government, the opposition has flatly rejected the purpose of the meeting, which is to discuss the SOEs, adding that it does not wish to engage in meaningless talk nor make security a political football. For the opposition, that's exactly what the government is doing, playing politics with national security, adding that one-upmanship is not helpful in the present situation.
President Jovenel Moïse Wednesday led a tribute to Inspector Charles Odile, the head of the Brigade for the Fight Against Drugs Trafficking, the BLTS, who died suddenly over the last weekend. Now, Moïse said that the death is a huge loss for Haitian National and the police and the nation, and extended his condolences to Odile's family and the police. Prime Minister Jean-Henri Séant said he was saddened at the death, adding that given his professionalism in the fight against the scourge of drugs, we measure the weight of this loss for Haiti in general. One opposition legislator in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, K. Bacchus Batiste, says Kingstown should consider taking legal action against the European Union over what she says is the grouping's extraterritorial actions to force small states to enforce its tax laws. Batiste is taking issue with the EU's move to force CARICOM countries to adopt measures regarding the establishment of international businesses in the region, and she wants the matter to be taken before the international courts. Last week, Prime Minister Dr. Ralph Gonsalves called for a unified CARICOM approach to the issue after telling legislators that some countries have surrendered or are inclined to surrender. Legislators in St. Vincent have been debating the International Business Companies Amendment and Consolidated Amendment Bill 2018. And stay with us, your Midday Sport is next. Reigning champions West Indies have qualified automatically for next year's 2020 World Cup in Australia. Now, the Caribbean side booked their spot by virtue of their current 7th place in the ICC T20 rankings at year-end, with the top 8 teams, including hosts Australia, all securing their places at the showpiece. Minnows Afghanistan, coached by Trinidadian and former West Indies head coach Phil Simmons, also qualified directly by virtue of their 8th place in the rankings. Former champions and 3-time finalists, Sri Lanka ranked 9th and Bangladesh 10th, will have to go through the group stage of the tournament with 6 other qualifiers in order to make the Super 12s. Now, 6 teams from the ICC T20 World Cup qualifier later this year will join Sri Lanka and Bangladesh in the group stage, with 4 qualifying to the Super 12 stage. West Indies won the T20 World Cup for the 2nd time back in 2016 when they beat England in a dramatic final in Kolkata. Still in cricket, one cricket commentator in Trinidad and Tobago is shocked over the decision by Cricket West Indies to appoint its director of cricket, Richard Pybus, to the post of head coach. Colin Murray is of the view that selecting Pybus to the top job may be a bad decision. Cricket West Indies Chief Executive Johnny Grave confirmed the development in an interview with the Trinidad Newsday, pointing out that Pybus would lead the men's squad until the end of India's tour of the Caribbean next September.
Richard Pybus has not had, to me, a very successful stint. He was director of West Indies Cricket from 2013 to 2016. The one thing I remember him for was that he said in order to qualify to play for the West Indies, you had to play in the domestic competitions, which I totally disagree with. He also had a stint with Pakistan and Bangladesh, which to me wasn't all that great either.
West Indies have an active 2019 season, which includes a full series against England, bowling off January 23 in the Caribbean, and their campaign at the ICC World Cup in England starting next May. However, Murray believes the side will not fare well in any of the carded matches.
You know, it is what it is. If Pybus has been, head coach, well, I mean, there's nothing much we can do about it, except I just hope and I pray that somehow he can turn around the fortunes of West Indies cricket. What happens if he doesn't do well? Are we going to get rid of him? Or is it a situation where we're going to give him a long term? Because let's face it, to take the West Indies team now, until you're playing against England, you have an ODI, you have the World Cup, and then you have India. I don't honestly think we're going to do well in any of those series.
That's Caribbean in 10. Good afternoon.